Hey everyone, I believe we're live now. It says we are. I have on the headset, hopefully, so I don't need to speak so loud. I'm outside, but also we have quite a monotonic uh, frog choir, if you will, with a constant chorus. Having said that, please let me know if you can hear me well. Just drop a comment in there, if you will. With this, I didn't write down any points. I will just go from the heart with what I'll speak about and what I'll share here. Uh, However, with this, as you can see in the title, that what this is about is rescuing and preparing the children for Ascension. And a little bit of the description there is the Ascension has now progressed to the point of rescuing and gathering our children from the clutches of evil and more. So, if we will, what I'll begin with is that as many of you, thanks, Sister Nya, as many of you may already have seen with Sister Nya and the unlawful taking of her children from her. This is only a micro example of what has been occurring more dominantly worldwide, but also it has been expanding out until this point. Now, to get into everything is energy, so to get into the deeper reasons why this was occurring and why it's allowed in the past and how it was allowed to occur is that all of creation is about energy. So, at the highest form, the unconditional love bond between a mother and a child is one of the most powerful love bonds that was known in this world and still is today. When you look at the power of love as energy, it is what creates the peace, it's what creates the law, what is also just, and it creates the abundance, the joy, all of the good things. Between the mother and the child, there is so much that is added to creation as a whole in a good way. Having said this, the system is designed and created to separate and diminish the unconditional love bond worldwide. And by its evil design, with at least one of its attributes is the child care services, which is more or less an instrument to break these great loving bonds as well, to instill animosity, separation, fear, uh, deep sadness within the feminine, mostly, and the masculine. But it's designed to do this. And one of the reasons why is that the evil, the darkness, knows that, uh, let's say, the ones of the light, the children of God, that they are co creators to the respect that they contribute to their outside world, how they feel. So when they are in joy and love, that is reflected into the immediate outside world. This is a threat to the actual evil and the darkness. So this is why they attempt to manipulate and control the feelings, because feelings are energy. So when they can make a mom very sad, and when they can make the innocent children very sad, these co creators are emitting a dense negative energy out into reality, but it's this energy that the evil thrives off of. It's what supports them. The evil cannot exist in a joyous, happy, loving world simply because it is not the joyous, peaceful, loving world and abundant and free is not what this evil is. And they cannot exist in that type of world. So they manipulate and pillage and use the. Anyone just give me a comment, please? It says the internet connection may be a little bit slow. Thank you, Sinod. So, what I touched on there was I got into some of the deeper mechanics and dynamics of creation, because with Ascension, this is what is occurring. We are changing the energetic reality, and we're changing it to be a joyous, loving, peaceful environment that you're currently in. And of course, it is a process. However, what the darkness has done with parents and their children, in the least, have caused so much sadness, if you will, in the world, and it's done it intentionally and deliberately, and they do it under the guise of child care and their legal systems and all of this. But the real truth is that many of these parents are manipulated and coerced into doing things that also um, assist with the darkness, able to separate their children from them. Another big thing with the darkness is the capitalistic society, which creates poverty. And because their evil capitalistic society creates classes, and it creates, more importantly, poverty, it gives the darkness even more excuse to take children from moms, and also in impoverished countries. And also, it is a lucrative business, even with adoption agencies, if you will, just to give you some examples. And let me say, I have extensively researched everything that I speak of, and I already know this for what I am. When we simply look at how ridiculous is it today, for example, in Uganda, for someone in the U.S. to adopt a child from Uganda, it costs about $27,000. Look at that for a moment. And what you can see is, look at the amount of money that is involved in it. So when you go and do some of your research and look at adoption scandals worldwide, you will see, because of it being such a lucrative business to supply children for an adoption market, if you will, and that's what they look at it. These children, they don't look at them as being human beings and beautiful, innocent souls. They look at them as part of an economic supply and demand to profit off of, to sell these children to not only ones that are adopting, but also to plenish with lawyers and all of the other attached levels of the capitalistic bureaucracy, to make it a business and a profit business for many involved. So if you look at, if you were genuinely wanting to assist a genuine child in Uganda, really the only money that would be involved in an ideal world is just enough for buying them a plane ticket. But of course, there's so much more involved with it. But the point of just sharing this about adoption agencies as well is because it's directly connected to the child trafficking. And where I go where I go from here, the real truth is that it runs very deep. It's very sadistic. It's very dark. It's all of those things. And there is the underlying agenda with it, meaning that in a just ideal world, the government has at its disposal in any country, it has all of the technology, all of the funding that it would ever require to eliminate these criminal rings once and for all. But because it's a capitalistic profit worldwide system out there, even ones in politics get bought off, get controlled, even if they're good or bad. So then what you have is politics playing a direct role in it, turning a blind eye with custom agencies and police forces being bought off and even being a part of it. Now, what I'm saying here, you can research online and see these things actually documented. So these are not fabrications. This is not something coming from a fantastic world. It's coming from this real world, and it's showing how very sick, again, that it is. Now, again, the children are innocent, and all of God's little wee ones, children, are totally innocent. It is the system that attempts to corrupt them. It is the system that makes the criminals out of the adults, if you will, by imposing and subjugating them to, let's say, dire circumstances like poverty and extreme poverty. The system is the core fault for all of the distortion, disease, discomfort worldwide that has affected many. And again, one does not need to be a rocket scientist, or they don't need to be fully even educated to recognize that GPMS.WORLD, the divine plan, is the ultimate solution for all of this. However, again, GPMS.WORLD takes every child, woman, and man worldwide consenting with it on our website. So we comprise the majority lawful vote of the people worldwide, and we bring in this new equal monetary system, but also importantly lawful system, which is very simple. And it is very simple because when everyone is in abundance worldwide and have their own money in the GPMS.world, everyone has more than enough. And then shortly afterwards, what happens is humanity sees they do not even need money at all to function because Earth, the planet, has been its civilization, its infrastructure, its architecture has been expanded to the point that can quickly just support a transition from this capitalistic world. It can support an instant transitioning from this capitalistic world to the full, abundant, equal, free, peaceful, joyous new world. It can be done in a month from now. But again, it depends on the choices of every individual worldwide and collecting the majority choice consent on the website to do it. And again, I've said this many times where the GPMS choice is here in the world now, and lawfully it's chosen through your right of self-determination, meaning that every country in the world that you vote for a political party, you exercise your right of self-determination to vote. In this now, you never had this opportunity before ever in history, this unprecedented opportunity to vote for an entirely new, all inclusive system. Only before you could vote for political parties in your individual nation, but you're also, where you're voting for political parties, you were voting for a capitalistic system and structure of money and artificial laws. You never had this choice of GPMS before, which is your full liberation and emancipation. But I got to get back on track here of what I was saying and what we're speaking about. So the children are innocent, and with this overall ascension, they do go forward in their ascension. But what is so important is not only bringing the children back with the rightful parents and reestablishing the family unit in that love bond in absolute abundance, what GPMS does. We're not just fully there yet, but we need to bring the children back with the parents as we go and emerge into that reality. So the children the children are safe. However, they need to be placed back because, again, one of the reasons is the parents and the mothers are the lead co-creator in that reality. And it's through their guidance is where the children also are divinely secured and go without making this so complicated. So, what is occurring and what is setting up is worldwide, and Sister Nya is doing an amazing divine job with this. We are bringing together all of the mothers, and mostly the mothers, but there are dads as well, bringing the parents together that have had their children taken worldwide by manipulative means and unprecedented means and what you would say ridiculous means that made it so obvious that the system wanted the children itself, and the system would even break its own laws, violate its own constitutions, and also violate the rights of the human rights to do this, to get the children. And because of this worldwide manipulation, it just becomes so more obvious that there is the underlying intent, that it's about getting the children. Now, again, what I'm speaking about is not a fabrication, it's not some delusional thinking, it's actually true. When you look worldwide again and do your research, you'll see human experiments conducted by governments, which is verified. You know, these were even in your mainstream media, and you know where the government of Canada made apologies, government of Denmark recently in the Little Danes experiment, where the government of Denmark got priests, if you will, or ministers in Greenland to take children to send to Denmark, and these children not to ever see their parents again. You'll see lots of experiments that is documented, and this is factual. Um, and I needed to bring that in there for the simple reason, again, to validate and accreditate what we're saying with all of this. So when we say things, it's not just again thinking. It is factual. Now, as we go forward, what is occurring is we're bringing all divine ones that are, when I say divine ones, what I mean is ones that are awakened to the degree to at least know that the circumstances was very unusual when their children was taken from them by child care institutions or what have you. And so with this, what we are doing is uniting, beginning to unite worldwide, so much testimony to this effect, because the systematic abuse is interconnected worldwide, if you will. So it's not a per country isolated corruption thing. It is actually a worldwide crime syndicate to the effect of having certain things in place and certain what they call laws to be able to give them the authority to take the children, to make it look like they're doing it lawfully, when in fact it has become so obvious and absurd now that so many have seen, no, there's something else wrong. They actually want the children for other means, and they're that desperate to get the children that they're even breaking their own laws and violating their own rights to do so. And again, one of the biggest reasons for this, well, two, is that these ones are actually evil, but number two, they are profiting big time off of it. And again, it's because of the way the current system works with money, the capitalistic system. It makes it gives and provides incentives for ones to participate in such hideous crimes. So getting back to what we are doing, this is very important with the Ascension because it's also breaking down the old system, because the Ascension is bringing heaven to earth. This is a planetary ascension. It's a selfless planetary ascension. And I've said this so many times. There's ones that thought, oh, I'm ascending. It's my own ascension. It's a selfish ascension. That's not the case. You're still here because there's more to this ascension. And everyone plays a vital and important divine role into it, to whatever way this may be. And truly, it's not a time for someone to be sitting under a tree waiting to ascend out of this reality. It doesn't work that way. It's the same as with a divine one I met several years ago. He tried to commit suicide 15 times. No, he wasn't allowed to leave. And the last time, the 15th time, he found out why when an archangel walked in and took the noose off of his neck after he took every precaution he could think of so that he could be successful in his suicide. No, he met the forces of God, and then he became to realize, no, you can't chicken out of this. There's only one way, and that is to stand firmly in your divinity, what is morally right, and we go through it. And we go through it all together by gathering everyone together to do it. The system has to buckle. It doesn't dissolve on its own. So it needs the unified support with things like this, with freeing the children and rescuing them from the child services, if you will, worldwide, that begins to do this, to bring the children back, if you will. So it's very important what is occurring. And having said that, with these videos we're doing, including this live, please, everyone, share them worldwide. We want to have the groups worldwide, the organizations worldwide that have been fighting this battle for years. We want them all to come together as one now, as one unified force, and break down what has been occurring and rescue these children and bring them all back home worldwide. Yes, there's been lots of stories out there about many children being rescued, but the truth of that is a lot of those were just stories that you saw in the awake communities. There was really no factual extent to it. Some, yes, were rescued, some things were done, however, not to the extent of what we are doing now with freeing all of the children of God worldwide. So, this is a very important part of the mission. And with this, we had Brother Kevin Annett and Sister Nya. We did an important Zoom broadcast the other night, and one of the great things that Kevin had said is that he walked into a room with two that had knives, was going to kill him, and in the blink of an eye, he was outside on the sidewalk perfectly fine. He was transported by God to safety because his divine mission is ascertained. The same as with all of you. When you stand up here, you will see how you are supported. And what I do say is that death does not exist for us. And when you stand with Christ and with your Sophia, the masculine and feminine versions of the Christ, when you stand in that and your trust with God, miracles do occur, and they are real. So it's important we put an end to this old world as soon as possible by coming all together to do this. So again, the evil is afraid of love because the evil is not love. And it's also because of these things that it attempts to try to destroy love. The love between a mother and father and their children, love in a relationship, love even between the twin flames. There is always a manipulation in the past or a darkness to separate. Because again, this is what the darkness does. The darkness hates, the light loves. So there is that separation, and it has to be, because the darkness is not what the children of God are, and the darkness does not go forward. It's that simple. They are not of God. And it's been said, it's been written, and it depends on however anyone wishes to perceive it. But it is truth what I say. And if it was not truth, right in this great time, everyone would be abundant and free and happy. But for the very reason it's not like that yet, it's because there is great evil and darkness there that has to be broken down. And part of that is not condoning its activities or its beast system that keeps all of their dark tactics intact and allows them to steal children of God for sacrifice using their gifted abilities. And that's what it's about. There is one school, if you will, for gifted children in the UK. These are children of God that they take, they say, oh, we're going to develop their gifts. But what they're actually doing is using things like their premonition abilities, their abilities at remote viewing. They actually use the children and gifted children to do these things for them. So they put it under a guise that they're assisting the children, but they're actually using the gifts of the children. So there are so many manipulative, deceiving things that they do worldwide. And again, GPMS.WORLD is what ends it, because it takes the incentive out of the whole thing, and the whole thing cannot exist, the pillage and stealing of children and what have you. So, this is again very important. I wasn't going to keep this very long, but I wanted to share this important message. And at preparing the children, and everyone knows, or most of you should, that's there, where two or more gather in the physical, in the name of God, the name of Christ, it begins to create an energetic field beyond this dense reality. This is also why it's another threat to the darkness. That's why they wish to separate, so they control ones and maintain their fear-based reality. So it's important again that, having said this, once the mom and the dads, but mostly the moms, are back and reunited with their children, this creates very incredible love force fields all around the world that reflects into reality, that further breaks down this beast system and reveals it even to ones that are not awake yet. So it affects the ascension as well, and it's a very crucial part of the ascension. So again, everything is energy, and all of your emotions and feelings are energy, and it's about the polarity of the energy and what you're producing as well, what you are creating, what type of energy are you adding to reality. Now, having said this, in this reality, not everyone yet is equal in their empathic abilities, and they're working with energy. However, we're going towards the world where all are equal. So, having said this, it may not resonate with some new ones, what I'm speaking about fully yet, but in due time it will. It will resonate with everyone, because it'll become the knowing of how things work and being prepared for the new reality where none of these negative acts or deeds or emotions exist. We're going to the heaven on earth, but we're bringing heaven on earth down here. And what occurs is the darkness. We don't need to put a finger onto it by gathering and creating this good unity of love and bringing it back together. Justice is served to mostly an organic level by itself with the darkness. So don't uh, we don't, what's the words, no, I'll change that, Father. So simply what I'm saying is that again, everyone needs to come together. You don't get violent with any of this. That's not the way. You don't get angry, because they want you to become angry, because when you go into anger, that is a dense energy and they can control you. Because when you go into anger, you forget all of your divine gifts, or at least in the past. So don't go into anger. Remain as calm as you can, so that you can think with clarity and also connect with your other brothers and sisters, so that we strategize divinely to end this once and for all. We are indeed in the end times, the final judgment days, but we are responsible to effect this ascension as well. As I said before, you don't just sit under a tree and allowing it to come to you. If that was the case, I would have been gone long ago, like many of you, but it's not the case. So common sense will tell you, with a lot of these New Age teachings, if you will, that they're also manipulated and that all of the truth is not there. But once you sit down and open up for yourself, you will begin to see the truth and the direction, and to know what needs to be done. While you sit there complacently, if you will, under the tree, you get pinged off, you get separated, and it's why the evil for so long were able to continuously take children, because not everyone worldwide would stand up, because if they took children from a mom, then she'd be targeted, suppressed, and controlled, so she was unable to do anything. Their legal systems financially burden one, so when you're unable to afford a lawyer, they got you full in where they want you. At the same time, they take your children away, laughing at you all, because it's the system, it's the beast system that allows for all of this to occur. So everyone needs to wake up to the degree that they know that GPMS is the full emancipation, and it is the heaven on earth. And all awakened need to do what is right and be a part of this as well. And the bigger we make this, the quicker we do, the quicker so many children are turned home, are returned home out of the clutches of the evil. Very quickly, in what I'm saying right at this point in time as well, is that we are taking the measures towards this effect. And as we make this movement worldwide at rescuing the children, exposing and revealing their illegal, unlawful tactics and all that manipulation, what it does, it creates such a huge publicity of testimony that even those that are still not awake, they cannot ignore it. It becomes too big. And because this comes too big, too quick, it breaks down the system, because the beast system cannot substantiate itself already. It has violated human rights and all of these important things. So there is no merit for the current system, because they have compromised it in so many ways that they have even broke their own laws, which actually nullifies and voids their artificial legal system worldwide. You cannot have a legal system that is partial, that has immunity or impunity in it. That is not a lawful system. It is an inferior legal system. The lawful system is the divine law that is fully impartial. So there is a huge difference, and the legal system cannot contend against the superior absolute system of divine law that respects and upholds everyone's rights, including all of the equal rights of every child. With Sister Nya, I just looked at her again today. I'm well versed, but what I do is I do some research online to also see how many others know the truth but have written things to substantiate and support what we're doing. Interesting enough, with what Austria, where Sister Nya is at, part of what they have adopted with the human rights is with the children to also listen to them. What do the children want? But worldwide as well, it has to be the consent of the child before they are taken. In Sister Nya's case, she did not consent. Neither did the children, and the children don't want to be there, so they're being held unlawfully against their will. And this is criminal, and it's unlawful, and it's the same as all of you moms and dads out there that have had your children taken like this, where your children didn't want to go, and the system pressured you and forced you, if you will, to put you in a situation where they could use, where the system could use against you what they created on you. Being in a state of poverty, maybe taking drugs because of depression caused by the actual system itself, where no one is free and you try to cope in a system that is designed to keep you always in a struggle and in a fight to survive. It plays on your emotions, it plays on your dignity, it plays on your integrity and everything you are. And this current beast system is also designed to create criminals, so it can also thrive on that in the different ways that they do without I getting into it. But the current beast system is designed to make criminals. The God system, the GPMS system, the heaven on earth, there are no criminals in it. It's not designed for that. It's designed to uplift, support every man, woman, and child worldwide, to place them in absolute abundance, comfort, freedom, love, peace, joy, and harmony. So GPMS.WORLD is the ascension. It is the end game to achieve the heaven on earth and end all of this foolishness and this evil darkness once and for all. So, again, we have to do this, and it has to be done, and it's divinely orchestrated to be done, meaning that we're seeing supportive other divine brothers and sisters coming in as this is being created very quickly. So it should not be very long. Also, having said this, with part of the process, what we're doing with Sister Nya right now, there are other strategies that we are beginning to put in place to effect the immediate release of the children again. But not only are we going to be doing and utilizing this, we are going to share this information with you all as well in all of the groups, so that we end the systematic abuse once and for all by tearing down the system. And at the same time telling ones, this system got to go, here is the new system. We already have it here, we know how it works, and it's prepared that it can be, as I say, right from now. If the majority worldwide would vote for it in the next 2 days, within a month, all of you would be enjoying this great abundance, this great freedom, this great peace, this great joy. All of your children would be returned. You would be in the heaven on earth scenario. So it is, again, GPMS.WORLD is the all-inclusive system, meaning that it is the solution for everything, and it has a solution for everything, an instantaneous solution for everything, to the degree that the planet could be cleaned up in a few days. It has all of the innovation, and it has also the technology and skill set to do everything once we have the majority votes collected. So once we have that, it is done without me needing to go into a deep explanation of what GPMS is. Many that are awakened and in their heart, they just look at the site for the first time and they feel it and they know it. With some others, it is different. It takes a while. But for the very point that I'm making, where someone just sees the website for the first time and can feel it What this means is that there's also many others out there that can do the same and will do the same, and they are part of the Divine Ones to assist with this overall planetary ascension. So let me just see if there's anything else I can add in here. What was I? So yeah, we're progressed to the point of rescuing and gathering the children now. And the preparation, yeah. The preparation of the children as the moms and the children get reunited. This preparation is instantaneous, ready also for the lift. So by getting the families reunited, this is the preparation to bring all together to get ready for the new world that will be created here. Excuse me. So again, it's important for everyone to share these worldwide to assist. If you are parents, a mom or a dad that unlawfully had your children taken, please join, give testimony. What we wish for any of you to do is to have statements of facts, incontestable facts. Have those prepared, and you only need them in point form. For example, you might have had a child care services that lied in court that caused you to lose the children. What you just put with your statement of fact is you keep it simple. Child care services committed perjury in court. That is a fact because you have it documented with perhaps the court transcript, and you also have it documented with what she was to document with prior discussions, so you can actually show where she lies in court, him or her. And those are statements of facts. It's an example of it. So you don't need to write out all of the evidence and everything that occurred. You just write the point, and you have the evidence that can fully substantiate that as an incontestable truth. So it's important for you, all of you that are assisting, to have these ready, because also there will most likely be a multinational class action lawsuit that brings all together within the legal system to break it from the inside, while at the same time there is the absolute divine law that, without going into full details, it's also working at the same time. So it's a two-pronged approach with this to break the system as soon as possible to release the children. The lawful expertise, if you will, is above what you would normally think of a lawyer or what have you within the legal system, because we are coming from the higher consciousness, which also has much more intelligence, if you will, than a lawyer that is not awake. They are conditioned and programmed within an evil, dark system. However, there are lawyers that are awake in there that have been prepared for this time to assist in taking part in this meltdown of the system. So their background, awake lawyers, which to my knowledge were very few, but there's more and more of them coming all the time, to know that they must do the right things. So what I'm saying is that the light has in place and has been doing it strategically, having every divine one placed for this time, whether they knew it or not. As an example of this, when you had ones, let's say, working in banks and levels of government, but poof, in the last 10 years, they have awakened, and they no longer can work there, but they have the information and the facts and the evidence of all of the corrupt things. So they were seeded into these areas of governments and banks to get the goods, but they were seated in there not knowing theirself that they were of the light, and that everything that was happening in their life was happening for a reason. And part of that was to get the evidence, to bring it all together, to break down the beast system. And we are in that time where all of these contribute with their knowledge, with their testimonies, at breaking down the system by exposing it for the full corruption that it is. This current system is only hanging by a severed thread. That's how fragile it is, and it can just crash at any moment with the new heaven on earth, the consents expanding and going viral. So we're very close to the end times. I just put out a post here on this timeline, Facebook timeline of mine, about a depiction showing an fallen angel dropping straight from the sun. It says plasma, but it's depicting the judgment. We're in the final judgment days, and it's depicting what looks like angels that they thought they were good. They're actually falling from the sun, because if you want to metaphorically look at the sun as the ascension portal, well, the darkness cannot go in it. And many times you will see in the past, if you have followed where I will say something, let's say prophetic, and in the next day you would see it depicted, if you will, in the sun, or occurring as a very obvious accrediting and validating metaphor, if you will, to what I had said. So, oh, Miriam, maybe, I think the frog stopped. I heard some horns and things. Yeah, I got these on so I don't hear, but the microphone you hear. Yeah, horns blowing, trumpets blowing, the real divine trumpets, if you will, and the frogs. Having said that, I must go, and love, light, and gratitude to you all, especially on these special days when the Christ was born, if you will, resurrected. So he was born, well, 3 times really, but this was one of the most amazing birth times as well that's being commemorated or celebrated in this time, the resurrection of the Christ. So, and many of you are connected with the Christ as well as the Mary, the both versions. So very good stuff. So with that, big love, light, and gratitude, and yeah, send us messages so we get everyone connected. Send them to I, Sister Nya, and we will be having more joining in the future as we construct and bring this together as well. So, peace, love, and harmony wherever you may be, and have an amazing day.